I've just started off on a new subject which I think has to be dealt with, especially in this day and age, and that is the end times. And you'll find that there are people who do believe the end times are coming. Maybe you could say they're just exceptionally religious for whatever reason. But there is a series of events which are occurring as we speak, which can only be a movement towards something, and that human history and the existence of this world cannot continue on in the same manner once these things are completed. So all I'm going to offer you is my opinion and my observations. And I look at it probably different from most people because I have been involved in the occult. So I think you should know, and maybe you should compare it to what you observe. That's you as a person, not via a TV screen or whatever the trend of the day is. So I want to point out the following. We have the political angle or the political aspect, the economic aspect, we have the social aspect, we have a religious and esoteric aspect, and we have the scientific aspect. Now, the way I see it, you've got all these things that are occurring on a global basis, not just by nation or community by community. And to me, these things, the motivation behind these things is growing exceedingly corrupt, wicked, and evil against God and against any order he has set up. If we look at the earth like this, we have these aspects coming in and they are covering it. And eventually they will all join together. They're running parallel to each other now, but they will all join together. And once that occurs, the grip on this earth in this world will be extraordinarily difficult to break. And you don't want to be around for that. As I've mentioned in clips I've done about Kabbalah, you have the tree of life and you also have the tree of death. Now the tree of life and the tree of death in Asia, the physical world, are joined together on this earth. In the tree of life it's called Malkut, in the tree of death it's called Lilith. And there's two aspects to this earth in this world. And they are Tebel, which is the immanent, and Shaolin, which is the transcendent. Now for Tebel we have what you call it purely physical. And in Shaolin we have the transcendent, which is the spiritual aspect of this earth in this world. And together they do make up this earth in this world, because the inhabitants of this earth in this world have souls, they have a spiritual aspect, but also take into consideration that you have what we call demons, who are somewhat bound to this earth because they are spiritual beings, and yet they do not have physical attributes. And I've noticed that what you call the demons are becoming more interactive with this earth, the physical aspect. Like the average human is half material half spirit. And with the tree of life and the tree of death, whoever gains this earth in this world will hold that tree. If the demonic powers manage to grab this earth in its entirety, they can complete their own tree. The tree of life exists in absolute, Bria, and Yetzirah, which are spiritual aspects, not physical. So to gain this earth in this world would mean a lot, because the demons, and they have their own, the tree of death, the Sephiroth. They need this earth in order to complete that tree. And as we see people, whether by design or by, usually for the most part, overwhelmingly stupidity and ignorance, serve the tree of death. And as we say now, the physical overrides the spiritual as applied by people. The virtues and vices on the tree of life have been reversed on the tree of death, and which would explain why people, or it can be observed how people choose to live their lives. So what I'll do is I'll look at each aspect. Now, the political, the economic, the social, the religious, esoteric, and the scientific. And from there, I will make opinions, observations, and we'll see how they all interconnect to each other. Sort of like a spider web. You know, you could have a circle with 5 different aspects. You know, give them equally spread, but they all join together one way or another. So there is a web enveloping us. And now you can choose to do something, you can choose to do nothing. But what is occurring in your country at this present time is pretty much occurring in every other country. It's not just some one-trick pony guy manipulating all of this. We're seeing a lot of people doing it largely for money, largely for power, and largely due to base nature. I'll also try and explain to you some of the aspects of what is known as Wetiko, which is a Native American word which pretty much describes a psychological illness being transmitted by psychological means. Groupthink, herdthink. Christian Science tends to call this animal magnetism, in which the base desires of a physical being override any spirituality they may have, you know, the soul, and also override any rationality or logic that the average person may have. And like these things are occurring now, it is a continuous movement. And we see people, they do behave like a herd of cows. And the world that is being taken or converted is a sort of world where you're either the butcher or you're the cattle. And I've been told about Agenda 21, the plans to reduce the Earth's population. And we see this already. You know, Speaking from my experience, being in Australia, and you see homosexuality being encouraged. Now, if you consider that maybe 1% of any given population at any given time would be biological homosexual. It could be due to DNA, could be due to hormones and the like. But now we're seeing that percentage increase, and that is due to, I don't know, a lifestyle choice, I suppose you could say. And we also have to consider that 4% of any given population at any given time are sociopaths, and you could add on 2% are psychopaths. Now, if the gay population increases for whatever reason, then we're going to see a series of changes within our societies in which basically the anti-God brigade will make a significant impact. Now, like I said, this is just my opinion, my observation. I am not a prophet, and nor would I ever claim to be. But the bad guys, they sense the time is right to actually get the show on the road, and they've got plenty of reasons to. So this is going to be an interesting series, so just bear with me.